space. Okay, so our apartment's not that tiny, but there's not a lot of storage space here. And as we work to live prepared, that means getting a little creative. So I thought I would take you guys on a little tour to show you exactly how we're doing that in small square footage, maybe give some of you guys an idea, and we're gonna chat real briefly on biblical precedent for living prepared. Ready? Let's dive in. So first, I'm going to show you my closet, okay? And by my closet, I mean mine and my husband's and our coat closet, because our apartment did not have a pantry, so the coat closet became the pantry, and we live in Colorado. We need coats. So we have squeezed in not only our clothes and a dresser, but some food storage as well. So let me show you what that looks like here. Okay, so as we walk into the closet, we have 5-gallon buckets, and then 3 of the 2-gallon buckets that are in here. So coming down here, we have whole wheat flour, some rolled oats, chipped coconut. In here, pinto beans. Squeeze. Oh, this one's labeled. I promise you it is. Here it is. Flax seeds. And this one is our wheat berries. I know it is. I just can't pull it over to the side right now. It's also labeled on top. Whoa. Y'all, this is so tiny. Trying to film in here is funny. I've never tried to do this before. Okay, brown basmati rice. And then down here we have some navy beans. And then if you come with me up and over, we've got some all-purpose flour. Up here, my diatomaceous earth that I use. These are both 2-gallon buckets as well. And I use the diatomaceous earth in our grains and such to keep it from anything hatching. Because if you're familiar with grains and long-term food storage, you know that naturally when you're storing whole grains, that there are insect eggs typically inside of the grain. Just something natural that happens. And so frequently when you are getting them in bulk, you will freeze them in a great big freezer. But as I've talked about in some of our other videos previously, our freezer is not so big. So we use diatomaceous earth, and that way if anything hatches, it keeps it from becoming any sort of an issue. You know what I'm saying? I have some of these old baskets up here, and over on the right over here, you'll see this guy, whoops, actually right now just has 1 extra virgin olive oil in here. My goal is to get at least 2 or 3. I'd actually love to have this whole thing filled up with olive oil. Then, whoops, let's see, before I put that back up, I've got a large container of ghee. This one's from Costco. This coconut oil is from Thrive Market. And then we've got all sorts of Azure Standard things over here. We've got garbanzo beans and green lentils. We've got some split green peas, pine nuts, and raw almonds over here. And then I also have some extra sodium ascorbate from Nutribiotics up here. Love to keep plenty of vitamin C on hand at all times. Some extra Kleenex and freezer bags. I have to get the brand. I am not normally a brand name purchaser. However, I had been buying non-brand name freezer bags and the freezer burn was just out of control. So had to go back to some brand names. Then I pulled out 3 more of those baskets, and I think I found these baskets at Target years ago though. Before Chris and I got married, I had these at the duplex that I lived in. So I want to say I got them 6 or 7 years ago. I'm not sure if you can find these exact ones, but you could find something similar. And then in here, we've got things like sea salt, pasta sauce, pasta, some extra condiments, apple cider vinegar. We've got whole peeled tomatoes, some dried mushrooms. I would love to get another thing of dried mushrooms in here because I think, yeah, that's it. Those are dried shiitakes from Hazeldale Mushrooms here in Colorado. And I'm going to show you where we have some of our additional food storage. So I'm going to take you under the bed. So y'all, this is our emergency storage, and it is dark under the bed. So my apologies for the lighting. I could bring a ring light over here, but that just wouldn't be realistic, would it? So over here, I've got some raw cashew pieces from Azure. That's another 25-pound bag of wheat berries. Right now, that is not the ideal way to store them, as I talked about with things that tend to grow in grains. So let me get this back the way I had it. That won't be there very long. Our bucket's getting low, and so I have that there ready to put them into the bucket as soon as possible. Then we've got, this is from our CSA. Whoop. Back here. And y'all look. See, you can get creative. Gallons of water back here. You can do this in a small space. Then we have, so these are some dried beans. We've got red beans and some black beans here. And that's in addition to what we have in our pantry. This is kind of our backup store. And some extra popcorn from Monroe Organic Farms. And then, like I've said in other videos, I do not want our house to look like, our apartment to look when you walk in the front door like, wow, they have a lot of extra food on hand. Just because I want it to feel homey. I don't want all of that to be what's out in the open and what's seen. However, this one, maybe I'll cover it at some point, but nobody else comes back here into our bedroom. So over here in the back corner, yes, in the back corner of the bedroom, underneath our towels, our dirty towels, is our white jasmine rice. This is the other 5-gallon bucket that we have. I had to pick a spot where, you know, the temperature doesn't fluctuate too much. It's not going up or down. It's not getting too moist, so you can't really store it like in a cabinet in the bathroom or anything. And so here it is in our bedroom underneath our dirty towels. This is real life, y'all. So I hope you guys are encouraged by seeing some of the ways that you can store food creatively in small spaces. We also have some under the bed in our guest room and my husband's office. It's a little tricky to get to though right now. It's not one of the ones we rotate quite as frequently, and it has some of our canned chicken and canned salmon and stuff in there. So I'm not going to take you in there just because it's real tricky to get it out. And once I get it out, it's not going back under super, super easy. So, but I hope you can get an idea from some of the other things that I've showed you what, you know, small space storage can look like. If you guys are in a small space and you have ideas of where to store backup food or water, let me know. I know there's this fantastic new water storage thing that Berkey Filters has that I saw that allows you to store actually just regular unfiltered water, because you can't really store filtered water for long periods of time in, you know, without canning it or anything like that, which you can totally water bath can water. I will likely be doing that at some point if I can. I got to get more creative. Every little thing we're adding, I'm having to kind of maneuver things and find some more space for. But let's talk about why. Because on this channel, I like to talk about authentic wellness and finding wellness authentically through biblically rooted principles. And so why are we storing food like this? Where is that possibly rooted in scripture, right? I have heard some people argue that really, if you are a believer, you shouldn't be storing food at all because you just need to trust for God's provision. And yes, and this is one of those yes ands. You also see in scripture, Proverbs very clearly lays out that in the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil. So not just any food, choice food, right? And so we're looking at maintaining wellness and really wanting to live well as we possibly can with the resources God has given us. And so for our family, what that looks like for me is making sure that we have a variety of food on hand that would provide us with a variety of nutrition, so that if we were to end up in any sort of emergency situation, I mean, even last year when you had, in 2020, when a lot of grocery stores were having shortages, right? You couldn't always find everything that you were looking for. Thankfully, at that point, we had already started buying a lot local. So we had connections to local farmers, and we were still able to get meat when other people weren't able to get meat or were paying a whole lot for meat. Our meat prices didn't change because we had direct from the farmer, and the farmer was able to process everything on their own land. So that is a huge bonus and another reason to really support local farmers, but really just do it, not just in case of emergency. Support your local farmers, friends. And then, so that's one aspect and one way that we were able to kind of move through that. But there were some pantry staples that we were having a hard time getting. And we realized last year that we had become very, very dependent on the fact that we could just walk to the grocery store and assume that they would have exactly what we need. And we're realizing that the supply chain is actually super, super fragile here. And so we really shouldn't be relying on the grocery store to stock things for us. For our own home, we need to be responsible for that. And so we're stocking what we can and using kind of shopping our own store at home. One, it's more economical for a lot of things. You save a lot of money when you buy in bulk. And then two, you have the peace of mind that you have things on hand. And you have that ability then that in crisis, if you are prepared, you can bless others as well. So yes, you're taking care of your own household first. I mean, scripture does say take care of your own household first or you're worse than an unbeliever. So there's that precedent that you are to take care of your own home and your own family. And then like once you have your needs met, you can share the extra, the abundance. Good gifts and blessings are not meant to stay with us. We're not meant, one of my favorite analogies that I've heard, and I cannot remember where I've heard this, but it is, you know, we are in God's kingdom called to be rivers, not ponds. So you don't want good blessings coming in and then just sitting with you. When blessings come in, they're designed to continue to flow, like straight from you, straight out. So maybe not even a river, but you know, maybe a lake that has rivers that flow from it versus just sitting there. So constantly moving, essentially. You see what I'm saying? It's pouring out from you. It comes to you, yes, it blesses you, and you move that blessing onto others. It doesn't just sit and rest with you. So I hope that was helpful. I'll be sure to link some of my favorite resources in the comments below as far as stocking up for food supplies. Azure Standard is one of my absolute favorites. You guys have seen my unboxing videos and my hauls here on this channel. If you haven't, be sure to check out my grocery haul playlist. I link a lot of those there. And if you are not yet an Azure Standard member, be sure to check out the referral code in the link below. Until next time, friends, take care. Cheers.